Hello there, my name is Trench J, and today I'm going to be showing you the basics of the Residence plugin for Bukkit. First off, we're going to start. This is my handy assistant Steve. Welcome, Steve. First, we're going to start off by just making a standard residence. Say you're in this nice little swampy area, and you decide I'm going to make a house just down here, and so I want to protect myself some land. What you do is, with a stick, just a standard wooden stick, click your first point, which is place primary selection point, and then you can go somewhere else and right click your secondary selection point. Now obviously what that's done, that's only selected a flat plane of blocks, so only the actual grass blocks here will be protected. Anything above it will not be protected at all. So what you can do is you can use the expand command. So what you'd want to do is look up, because obviously you want to expand it up, and it always expands in the way you're looking, and then type res select expand, and then the amount of blocks you want to go up. So say we go up 6 blocks, and then that's expanded the area. Obviously you can't see the area that you're selecting. Sometimes it's easiest to do the selection after you've made your house, but in this situation I'm not going to do that. So once you've had your area selected, then you simply do res create and then the name of your residence. So in this situation we'll just use house. There we go. Charged 130 to your iConomy account. It does cost you money per block, so the more space you claim, the more money it's going to cost you, and it works out to be about 3 blocks per pound. So just to let you know that. So now this area is protected to me. So if my trusty friend Steve decides to want to come over here, first off he'll be alerted when he enters the area. I can show you that if I come out here now, leaving house. Welcome to Trench J, or welcome Trench J to house owned by Trench J. Now if Steve tries to destroy a block, he won't be able to. It's fully protected, and it will also protect you against PvP, so he can't hit me, I don't get damaged. He won't be able to open doors, he won't be able to open chests. Basically he won't be able to do anything. Just like it was in factions, if they're not part of your residence, they can't do anything. So there you go, that's the basics of setting up a residence. So you have your residence set up, your very poorly built house, protected from rogue Steves in the world. But you decide you're a bit bored with these messages. Now leaving house, welcome to Trench J to house, and it's a bit dull and lifeless. So what you can do, you can type in res message, then the name of your residence, so in this case house, then whether it's the enter or leave message, so enter, and then your message, so welcome to my abode, exclamation mark, and that's that set. You can also do res message residence name leave, and then another one, so please come again, and that will then set that. So when we leave, please come again. When we enter, welcome to my abode. So that's quite cool. Also, as I'm guessing some of you will build a house and protect it, and then you'll want to protect it further to expand your house later on. So round the back here I've decided to build myself a little farm. So a little sugarcane farm there. So how do we protect that now? Well, what we do, we get our trusty stick again, primary selection point. Now this time, I mean obviously you can make it bigger than what you need to, so I'm going to place it just here. So that's going to add that area to it. And then what we need to do is type in res area add house, which is the residence name again, and then what you want it to be called. So you can do garden, for example. So there you go, it's charged 84 to your economy account, and the residence area create ID garden. So then, and what it will do, any areas will get the same messages as the actual abode itself. And what you can do as well is you can actually make what are called subzones, which is quite handy for anyone like Robin Hood, for example, who's going to try and create an entire city. What you do, you get your trusty stick out again. We'll just make a little tiny subzone here. And you do res subzone, and we'll just, for the sake of this explanation, we'll just call it corner. And that will now create, welcome to house.corner, owned by Trench J. So there's actually a subzone within my house. And what you can do to that what you pretty much can do with normal residences. So if I was to do a res message, and then as it says, as you can see on the screen, welcome Trench J to house.corner, that is the way you need to type it in now. So house dot corner, enter. This is a corner. So there we go, this is a corner. So doing that, say if you were to make a city, you could make the entire city protected to yourself, and then have individual houses within that with their own messages, and exit and enter messages. And that will come in more importantly in the next part, where I'll go into selling. So you've built yourself a nice lovely little house, but you decide it's a bit too small, you don't really want it anymore. You can actually sell your house. So what you do, obviously we've got the residence and that set up already. What you do is you go to res and then market, sell the residence name, in this case house, and then the amount. So say we want to sell it for 500. So now residence house is now for sale for 500. And if we do residence, oh no, res, sorry, market, list, that's messed up slightly because it's picking up all the residences that are on the other map, the new spawn map, which none of you can see yet. Haha. But as you can see, that would list all the residences. And if Steve wanted to buy the house, he would use res market buy and then the residence name. So he's going to say to me, cannot buy my own land. But that's all well and good, you can list residences and things like that, but there is also another plugin installed on the server called Residence Signs. Now with Residence Signs, what you can do is, if we get myself a sign, we can make the sign up, and on the top line we just put for sale. Done. Oh, invalid residence. Right, okay. Because it's not inside the residence, because it's on the outside of that block, it's not in the residence, it's not picking it up properly. Normally what you'd do is you'd put it up, for sale, click, done, and there you go, it automatically fills it in. So for sale 500, and then the name of the house and whether it's available or not. And what our little friend Steve would do, he'd come in, he'd see that and go, ooh, a house for sale. He'd right click on it, and then if he could buy it, if he had enough money, he would then own that residence. So there you go. If you decide you don't want to sell it anymore, you simply use the same command, res market, but then unsell, and then the residence name, house. Residence is no longer for sale. But what you can do is, again, in the case of large cities and towns and things like that, you can res market sell house dot corner, which is our subzone that we created in the previous section, and then the amount. So we'll sell it for 100. And again, you can list it, or we can do the for sale. Done. Now that house is available to be purchased. So if I give Steve some money, so he's now got £100, so he can afford it. So like I said before, he can't break anything. It's just not possible. He can't open chests. He can't break the glass. It doesn't allow him to. And in this subsection, he also can't break anything. But if he buys it, there you go. He charged 100 to his economy account, and he's bought it. Now this pane of glass here that he's looking at, that is now in his residence, so he can break it because he now owns it. So that, as you can see, that's going to come in very handy for, again, the towns and cities if he decides to create them. You can also rent properties, so they will have to pay again and again and again. That's something that I will go into in a different video. This is just going to be the basics for you to get hold of. So we've made a residence, we've made a subzone, we've done adding parts to a residence. Now, if you decide you just really don't want it and you want to get rid of it completely, you can just do res, remove, and then the name of your residence. So house. Now that residence has been removed. Now the problem with this is that now Steve will not own this because it's a subzone of the main residence. He will now not own this subzone, so he's quite frustrated. So you have to be careful if you're doing that with towns and cities and things like that. But there you go. You can also obviously remove individual subzones from your residence using the residence.subzone way of typing it. Also, what you can do, this will cost you a lot of money. Obviously, there are problems in so much as I could climb above this house and cover the whole thing in lava, for example. What you can do when you're selecting your area, if you were to say, we'll select the whole thing again, including the garden this time. Oh, getting a few frame rate issues there. But now when you do the res, you can go res, select, vert. And what that will do, like it says, they're expanded to the highest allowed limit and the lowest allowed limit. That means it's selected the area that you've chosen, but all the way to bedrock, all the way up to layer 127. Now if I was to res create, as you saw before, it cost me just over 100 something to create the residence. Now res create house, that's now 5,914. So obviously it makes a lot of difference because you're claiming a lot of land. So you're going to need a lot of money if you want to protect a massive city. Also, what you can do when you're selecting areas again, so we'll just select a random area here. We'll go res select expand 12. Expanding up. What you can do is type in res select and size, and then what that will tell you is land total size 468. That's how many blocks you've decided you want to protect, how much it's going to cost, land size, and then how wide, high and deep it's going to be. So you can get that kind of information before you actually create a residence. So that's pretty much the basics taken care of for a residence. So it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Steve. Have fun with residence.